Manchester City will look to set the wheels in motion for qualification to the semi-finals of the Champions League for the second time in their history when they travel to Tottenham for their quarter-final first leg on Tuesday night. The Blues, who have beaten Spurs in their last 3 meetings, booked their place in the FA Cup final with a 1-0 win against Brighton on Saturday to bolster their hopes of an unprecedented quadruple of trophies this season. Pep Guardiola's side have already lifted the Carabao Cup this season and will juggle the Champions League with their title race with Liverpool between now and the end of the campaign. City's game against Spurs will be the first European fixture to be played in Tottenham's new stadium, and Sergio Aguero is in line to return after recovering from an ankle problem he sustained against Fulham 10 days ago. Kyle Walker is in contention to play after being withdrawn in the Cup semi-final, as is Benjamin Mendy. Our writers have looked at how Guardiola could shape his starting side, and you can do so too using the widget at the foot of the page. Stuart Brennan never thought I'd say this, but now might be the time to leave out David Silva in a huge game. His influence has waned this season, and with Bernardo Silva really stepping up, City have a ready-made replacement. Of course, Bernardo is effective coming in off the right flank, but I would have him alongside Kevin de Bruyne and have a pace-packed front three of Raheem Sterling, Sergio Aguero and Leroy Sane. Spurs have to push for a win, and the counter will be a serious weapon. Vincent Kompany would also be the man I'd use to shack Harry Kane. He can dominate him physically, and as we know, stepping in after a few weeks out in the cold never seems to affect the skipper's form. That allows Laporte to shuffle across and gives the Blues plenty of height at set-pieces. Kyle Walker blotted his copybook at the weekend, but against his old club I don't think he will do anything silly, and his pace is so important for a defense that is not blessed with speed. Bajkowski This is arguably City's biggest game since Liverpool at home at the beginning of the year, so I'd go with the defense that had such success in that game: Danilo, John Stones, Vincent Kompany and Laporte. Kyle Walker was back in training on Monday, but Pep Guardiola is likely to be annoyed at how he lost his head against Brighton, and Danilo has shown his worth this season. Fernandinho will return, and I'd be inclined to play Kevin de Bruyne again. He may still be far from his best, but when he can produce moments such as the first goal on Saturday, that X factor could make the difference in such a tight game. Aguero too is worth the risk if fit. Leroy Sane seems most unlucky to miss out on the side, but he is some player to be able to bring on fresh as legs around him tire. Dan O'Toole. Kyle Walker's antics against Brighton on Saturday will have concerned Pep Guardiola, just as his needless scrap at Bournemouth did earlier this year. Tottenham supporters, buoyed by a first Champions League night at their new stadium, will likely look to give their former right-back some stick, and Walker's previous doesn't suggest he'd be a dead cert to keep his head. I'd have Danilo in at right back for that reason. City's injury problems dictate that Benjamin Mendy is in with a greater chance of starting this game than he might have had if Zinchenko were fit. Two games in 3 days is a lot to ask of a player who has made just 21 City appearances in 2 seasons, but it could be a case of needs must on Tuesday night. Aymeric Laporte, for me, is too effective at centre-back to be pushed out to the left flank. Fernandinho is a certainty and I'd be tempted by the tried and tested partnership of Kevin de Bruyne and David Silva in front of him. Bernardo Silva always plays in the big games and Raheem Sterling is City's best option on the right. Sergio Aguero must play.